I used to visit the Buderim last month, so I know what you're talking about. Just in time.
Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 8th of October 2016, but now I want you to go back 50 years in time to the 8th of October 1966. How old were you then? And do you
no answers.
So was I. 20. Do you remember a memorable event in your lifetime, in your life at that time? Well, today we're here to celebrate a memorable event in Buderim's lifetime. This is the day a visionary lady with the spirit of Buderim handed over the deeds of the old Burnett House to the Buderim Community Centre. This visionary lady was Miss Sybil Vise. She addressed Mr McCluskey, a trustee of the Buderim Community Centre, now known as the BWMCA. Let her speak for herself.
Mr McCluskey. I am glad it has been possible to preserve this old home, the oldest, I believe, on Buderim. Until a little over a year ago, I thought this house would have to be demolished to make way for the new home I intended to build. However, local experts advised that the building had been solidly constructed and was worth restoring. So, in discussions with the community centre, I was glad that a way could be found both to retain the old house and to leave room for building a new one beside it. Buderim has changed so rapidly in the last few years, from a quiet farming centre to a select residential area, that it is good to have in our midst a permanent reminder of the pioneering days. I hope that when restoration is completed, visitors will not only be able to see the kind of home our forefathers lived in, but will also be able to recall something of their pioneering spirit, their courage and initiative, their capacity for hard work, and their willingness to help their neighbours. It is because this spirit is very much alive today in the Buderim Community Centre that I have no hesitation in handing over the cottage to the Buderim Community Centre and its subsidiary, the Buderim Historical Society, whose enthusiastic, competent and hard-working committee has the task of restoration. So to you, Mr McCluskey, as one of the trustees, I now hand over the document and with it the deeds of the cottage and land. In conclusion, I hope that Buderim will never become too big to be community-minded, and that this cottage will help to keep alive among its residents the pioneering spirit of their forefathers.
What a speech, and what a visionary lady. Now, we're going to meet Mr and Mrs Newcomer, recent arrivals in Buderim. They've not yet caught the spirit of Buderim.
I've heard that Miss Vise has given the deeds to an old house in Buderim. Can you believe it? What was she thinking about?
Well, I walked past that old house recently and it's nothing but a dump. It's a regular eyesore.
She says the people will work hard, the people of Buderim will work hard to restore it. I can't see that. I won't be doing any work there.
No, I don't blame you either. People will be keen for the first few months, but then they'll just forget about it. Anyway, what would Buderim want with an old bomb of a place like that.
And the next thing you know, they'll be asking for money to help with the restoration expenses.
Well, they needn't come to us. We're not going to give them a penny.
No.
And tell me, what's this spirit of Buderim Miss Vise talks about?
Who knows? The only spirit I care about is the scotch I have at the end of the day.
Ring a bell? Poor Mr. and Mrs. Newcomer. I wonder if they will eventually settle happily here. That same day, two friends were chatting over a cup of tea. They are two willing people who do have the spirit of Buderim.
Hi Selma. I'm so excited to hear what Miss Vise has done. I can't wait to help restore that old house. It's such a landmark in Buderim.
Yes, there'll be plenty of work to do. Now, my husband's a handyman. I'll get him to give up some of his golf days and he can help me.
Well, I'm sure the service clubs will lend a hand. That's what they do. I'll speak to my neighbour. He's a member of Rotary. And we can raise some money too. Let's have a Lamington drive. I'll ring around my friends.
You know, Mel, Miss Vise always loved Buderim. No matter where her work took her, she always returned here.
Well, she was just a toddler when she first came here. Her father had a fruit farm at Mons and she went to the Mons school as one of the first pupils.
I've met her at the golf club and I believe she's a member of the Bridge Club as well. She really had the spirit of Buderim.
Well, Zelma, I better be getting on, but let's get together again soon with some of our friends to see how we can help.
Yes.
Bye for now.
So how enthusiastic were those two, and their enthusiasm never wavered. Now we advance 50 years to the 8th of October 2016, and we meet some present-day stalwarts of Buderim.
Morning, David.
Hi, Prue.
My, have those 50 years have flown, and haven't we come a long way since then?
We certainly have, Prue. We've had the support of organisations, businesses and the people of Buderim. And you know, ratepayers in this region have helped to pay for the repairs.
Okay. Yeah. When the ginger factory was on Buderim, we got so many visitors. The buses used to come here. We had so many visitors. We were able to donate $5,500 towards the BWMCA. Nowadays, apart from the council grants as mentioned, we also have to raise funds from Trash and Treasures or even at fairs, and we're going to be at the Christmas fair this year, next month. And of course we have all our groups. Our morning teas have become legendary.
Remember, Prue, how the veranda was in such a poor state that it was dangerous to entertain groups. I mean, it was such a bad state that only two people could stand on it at a time.
Right.
These days we get groups of school children from all the local schools visiting, and it's great to see how they can see how our pioneers lived.
Yeah, and we've had so many wonderful donations from everybody, and all those beautiful items that you see inside, they're all donated by the locals and to remind the children of the old times. And I wonder how many of them have really seen an old stove like their great-grandmother used in her kitchen. And they often ask what the grindstone was used for, but the piece de resistance is upstairs. They always giggle when they see what goes under the bed. Forerunner of our en-suites.
Yes, Prue, we're proud of our cottage and all of our volunteers. Just look at the garden, so lovingly tended by Laurel and her dedicated group.
Yes, it's wonderful. I feel sure that Sybil would be thrilled to see that her vision has been realised and to know that the spirit of Buderim lives on. Oh look, here comes one of our friends. Hi Ken.
Hello, Ken.
Hello, Prue. Hello, David.
Lovely to see you.
Yes, well, that was quite a day when Miss Vise handed over the deeds of the Burnett house, and I remember because I was there.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Yes.
Tell us of your memories.
Well, I can't never forget the passion that Miss Vise showed on that day. You know, she was an English and history teacher at Nambour High where we were going to school, and we all sort of saw her as pretty strict and pretty stern, but on that day, wow, you know, there was something different about her, there really was.
Yeah.
You know, another aside, I just realised I was talking with a colleague, John Denver, just before about Buderim then, and there were only 2 high schools that you could go to, either Nambour for the whole of the Sunshine Coast or St Joseph's College. There are now 42 high schools. So Miss Vise would see a few changes, I'm sure.
Certainly.
I also remember, of course, my dad, who was the president of the WMCA at the time, and he moved the vote of thanks to Miss Vise. And how could I ever forget those cream cakes at morning tea?
Great memory you have, Ken.
Yeah. And then, of course, I remember we had a fair dinkum knight, Sir Raphael Salento. I think he was a famous surgeon at the time. So he was here. I don't think we've seen too many knights on Buderim before that. And then the Premier at the time, Frank Nicklin, he became Sir Frank Nicklin later on. He was the one who actually unveiled this plaque here. So some real memories.
Love wonderful memories. Thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken. You've shared great memories with us all. I think this is a good time to call on our Mayor, Mr. Mark Jamieson, and Mrs. Laurel Jamieson, the patroness of our Historical Society, to reenact that unveiling.
Just before we do, ladies and gentlemen, can I just acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we gather, the Kabi First Nation people, and to all of you gathered here today, for those of you who are currently involved or have been previously involved or indeed will be involved in the future. Thank you very much for the contribution you have made and will make to this great historical site on Buderim. The cottage itself is a splendid reminder of what's been achieved over 50 years of community effort, and on the 8th of October 1966 I was but a lad still trying to work out decimal currency from memory. But the cottage, the Pioneer Cottage, really is a signature property on the Sunshine Coast, not just for Buderim but for the whole region, and it helps everybody understand our history. So it gives me great pleasure this morning with Laurel, the patron of the Pioneer Cottage, to reenact the unveiling as Frank Nicklin did 50 years ago. And let's hope he had as lovely a day then as we're having today. Well done. So there we go.
Thank you both. Now let us all show our appreciation for Miss Vise, the woman with the vision and with the spirit of Buderim. Thank you all. That ends our presentation, and I'd now like to introduce Prue Corley.
Thank you. On September the 19th, 1866, that's 150 years ago, 19 days and approximately 4 hours, John Burnett stepped onto Australian soil in Brisbane. 10 years later, on the 18th of October, John and his brother Harry arrived on Buderim, and John was followed by Anne and their first 4 children. They lived in Ridley's house until this cottage was built in 1882. Many happy events have happened in all the years that the family lived here. On the 7th of February 1916, Sybil Vise started at the Mon State School, and after many years as a teacher, in 1952 she bought this house for £545. She thought she'd made a good investment. We do too. Who would believe that those steps would lead to us all being gathered here today 50 years after Sybil's wonderful gesture of gifting it to our community, which she followed up with the donation of Vise House as well. So today we celebrate all the people who have looked part in this cottage's history, but especially Sybil. We have many people to thank, but especially the Sunshine Coast Council, who have generously supported us with a minor event grant for this event, but we also received our community partnership grant again for another 2 years, which we really appreciate. As well as that, we're also working at present with a lady called Janice Handley, who is helping us develop a Year 5 education program, and that's supported by a Heritage Levy supporting the region grant. I wish to thank Helen de Chastel, who's hiding behind a tree there, who wrote our short play, and our wonderful cast of volunteers for the reenactment. No matter what I ask the volunteers, they always step up to the plate with a smile on their face. You may have noticed all the willing workers who have been doing their jobs here today. They have collected and erected marquees, moved tables and chairs around, made scones and sandwiches and produced displays, etc. All they have to look forward to is a glass of champagne and leftovers. And we acknowledge that they have all again supported the Buderim and the Sunshine Coast's heritage with all their hard work. I have a list of supporters up there, but our colouring competition, which received nearly 90 entrants, was designed for us by Cheryl and judged by Cheryl Anonymous. Bendigo Bank has provided the prizes for that. The Buderim Garden Club loaned us tables. The BWMCA, Steve Dixon and the Community Bank have loaned us marquees, and the Hall has loaned us chairs. Ken O'Flaherty and Joan Evans have been producing, entertaining you, and Kay Whedon is around there doing lace demonstrations. And Mark Thursby and Steve Olmerod are doing the photography for us. Special thanks though must go to Bill Laverick for yet another book. This one commemorating Sybil Vise and an important addition to our collection. Bill has written several books for us, but we really appreciate his expertise and research skills. So, got to get that out. Jenny Dittman, Sybil's niece, who starred as Sybil in the reenactment, has been a great help with Bill, and the speech that she said was the speech that Sybil said on that day. And she's helped Bill with her knowledge on history and of the history of Sybil and her many photos. Thank you, Jenny. Now, Jenny, while you're up here, I'd like to give you a copy of our photo book to thank you for all your work. Thank you. Copy for the library, the Heritage Library. Would you give it to them for us, please?
Thank you, my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Jenny and her cousin, Ailsa, would you like to come up and cut the cake? Thank you very much, everyone. And that's morning teas are still available. And there's face painting for children. Thank you all for coming.
Rain comes through the ride, you're dressed in blue, and you look so lovely. Gentle flower to my hand, we step to the music with a single smile. Which is your new book? Spoiled by actors and clowns, I had it made up.
Excuse me, there isn't any. Oh, right, yeah. No, there isn't. But if you would like to consider
Everything went
this is paid here and I'll give you
That's one of the
I'm going to have two.
Thank you.
You're a crazy Aussie. No, who made the butter?
I surely would. this one. What's here and gone?
Yes, that's with you.
There was a wild colonial boy, Jack Duggan was his name. He was born and raised in Ireland, in a place called Castlemaine. He was his father's only son, his mother's pride and joy, and dearly did his parents love the wild colonial boy. At the early age of 16 years, he left his native home, and to Australia's sunny shore he was inclined to roam. He robbed the rich, he helped the poor, he shot James McAvoy. A terror to Australia was the wild colonial boy. One morning on the prairie, as Jack he rode along, I listened to the mockingbird a-singing a cheerful song. Out stepped a band of troopers, Kelly, Davis and Fitzroy. They all set out for to capture him, the wild colonial boy. Surrender now, Jack Duggan, for you see we're 3-1. Surrender in the King's high name, you are the plundering son. Jack drew 2 pistols from his belt, he proudly waved them high. I'll fight, I'll not surrender, said the wild colonial boy. He fired a shot at Kelly, which brought him to the ground, and turning round to Davis he received a fatal wound. A bullet pierced his proud young heart from the pistol of Fitzroy, and that was how they captured him, the wild colonial boy. And that was how they captured him,